Hey kids, it's time for the concluding episode of Season 6 on KWJUDAS.
Previously on KWJUDAS.
Hey kid, it's me, drunkenly guy.
Arthur, you should tell everyone what happened on the last episode.
Of course.
Fucking asshole.
Cue the music. Our humble Gumption, Utah radio station was just blessed with a new intern, Mr. Yours Truly, who was enjoying a very miserable interview with the company's CEO when suddenly the company hype man and spokesperson, Fap Guy, was spirited away in a mysterious beam of light.
Judas and Wizard.
What's that?
Don't forget Judas and Wizard.
Oh yes, and Judas and Wizard. Brain blown out his butt, our new intern deliberates with the only remaining staff member, Mr. Arliss Abernathy Alabaster Arbuckle III, who insists on taking the company spaceship and recruiting their freshly abducted comrades. But far off in a tall, swanky, evil Fortadell on the distant planet Eros lurks a tall, swanky, and evil guy, swankily and evilly awaiting their arrival.
Yes, it's all about me. It's me. Yes, all about me.
Flap. Something troubling you, brother.
You know there is. Mother always did like Fap Guy best.
Flap. Care to fap about it?
No, I'd rather a short flashback. Perhaps to when the three of us were still together.
We were very young.
Congratulations, ma'am. You are the mother of 3 not-too-bad-looking triplets. They're, not too bad. This one's the cutest and most successful. Just let's do him. You's gonna be my little Fap Guy. And look at this little butter dumpling. You're gonna be my little Fop Guy.
It's all about me.
You're gonna be my little tall, swanky, evil guy.
But, Mimmy, I don't want to be a tall, swanky, evil guy. I want to take pictures of puppies and mittens and puddles.
No. You're gonna be a tall, swanky, evil guy, just like your grandmother.
And that's how a monk...
Sir.
Yes.
The prisoner approaches.
Very well. Let them in.
This way.
Fop.
Say hello to your 2 lost brothers.
What the fop?
Fop. Hello, brother. Welcome home.
Yes, welcome home, brother. Fop. Yes, well, you see, this is planet Eros, your home planet. Long ago, scientists had reason to believe our planet was on a direct collision course with another planet. So we sent one Erosian space baby to planet Earth as our species' last hope of survival.
Fop. No, you strapped him to a cosmic bottle rocket, lit the fuse, and he never came back.
Details. Point being, Mother was heartbroken. She made me vow on all my tall, swanky evilness that I would bring you back. And now here you are, dear brother. Fap? Wait a minute. There were supposed to be 2 others. There was an angry one and a delusional one. Where are they?
I couldn't handle
There was a wizard and a Judas. What the hell happened?
One was like way too angry, and the other was all delusional and stuff.
You let them escape!
Shit. Yeah, I guess.
Find them! Find them this instant!
Yes, sir, Mr. Tall, Swanky Guy, sir.
You forgot evil.
Yes, Mr. Evil Guy, sir.
Will our heroes, Wizard and Judas, evade the people of Eros? Will yours and our list figure out how to work a spaceship? And if so, how the hell will they find planet Eros anyway? Find out on the next exciting episode of Gumption Chronicles on Free Radio Provo. Oh, what a riotous time. Hello, I'm Judas. I played the voice acting for Glen Goss in the previous episode, season finale, part 1. On this next episode, part 2, there's a reason why we add the Chronicles of Gumption. It's the new show. We're going to be doing about 12 episodes of that before we bring back KWJUDAS. But the reason we broadcast that one first is because we left everyone hanging, and we wanted you to get that first out of the way so you don't have to listen to this next shit, the boring shit about to come. What you're about to listen to is not exactly pleasant. It's nothing like part 1. There's no voice acting. There's no special guests. There's no editing or anything like that. It's basically just what we did there was my last night's drinking and just having a fun time with myself and all the other characters I guess I share this vessel with. And this next one is kind of the opposite. It's the first day sober and me just expressing my thoughts, basically, while I'm unable to sleep. You know, I kind of give a bit of a recap on the previous year and actually some of the good things that have happened and some of the advancements that I've made since the beginning of last year and some of the things that I'm hoping to do in the next year. So it's not entirely depressing all the way through. And I want everyone to know that this was my first night, so it does get a little bit dramatic. And I'm actually doing this voiceover a week later, and then I'm doing much better. Still fucking crazy, but I doubt that'll ever change, sober or not. And so, as I say, it's not funny, and really, if I were you, I wouldn't listen to it. But you can. We almost weren't going to post it, so here it is. It's mostly just for my own archiving and self-reflection to possibly look back on and maybe appreciate that I did this in the past, hopefully. And if not, then I'll just fucking delete it. So here it is. Well, folks, it is night 1, first night of sobriety. It's 7:40 a.m. and I cannot fucking sleep. That is why I am doing this recording. My mind is racing a mile a minute and I can't turn my fucking brain off. And sometimes you just need to get it out. So I'm probably not even going to publish this. And if I do, I guess this is the sober edition of
how we're doing here with Glen Goss on KWJUDAS, and there's probably not going to be any fucking guests or anything, because I'm kind of losing my fucking mind much more than I was when I was drunk. It's the problem. I am pretty much being reminded of all the things I fucking hate about trying to quit. I mean, it's just bombarding, to be honest. Physically, mentally, emotionally, physically. I mean, like, whether I'm sober or not, I'm pretty much fucked on every one of those fucking levels. And a huge, huge fucking part of just why I hate existence and don't want to be a part of it is the inability to sleep. The constant fucking inability to sleep. And it's not just for one particular fucking reason. It's like sometimes I just can't stop thinking. And it's sometimes I just get this overwhelming anxiety almost, and I don't usually get anxiety. I haven't usually had a problem with anxiety, but man, especially just right now, fucking everything I think about just like fills my fucking chest, my whole abdomen. It's like filling up with butterflies, and I could be thinking about anything good or bad, anything, I could think about like my family or my mom, or I could think about my past or my future. I think about I could think about the sun coming up. I have been freaking the fuck out just about thinking about the sun coming up in the morning. It freaks me the fuck out. I know that's fucking stupid. But I've tried so many different things to try and help me sleep. Weed helps. That's why I figured I'd get up and try and take a few puffs. Alcohol helps me pass out, but it doesn't help me stay asleep. I'll wake up like maybe 3 hours later and just roll around, tossing, turning, fucking screaming, ranting, raving. Sometimes it's the fucking neighbors, just their troglodytic ways. They're always just making fucking noise, but that's them just doing their thing. It's usually something physical or mental that just will not fucking leave me alone. I mean, some of them sound absolutely crazy, but I've even gone to see doctors. Like, there's a stupid little spot on my head. And it starts to tickle anytime I'm laying on my right side, which used to be the most comfortable fucking way to lay and fall asleep. And now, almost anytime I lay on that side, a stupid little spot tickles. It's like somebody's just fucking with me with a fucking feather or some shit. And then I'll fucking roll over and lay on my back, and like I'll feel something like tickling my face, and it's not my hair. It's not anything. I feel like I'm on some fucked up kind of fucking drug or some shit. Or like there's some fucking like external force that's deliberately fucking with me. Fucking just so I won't get any sleep. Just for shits and giggles. I don't know. Because it's a sadistic cunt and fucking doesn't want me to fucking rest and get the fucking mental stability that I might need. It sounds fucking crazy. It sounds fucking stupid. Sometimes it's just the fact that I can't breathe. Sometimes I actually will stop breathing. I haven't had that problem in a fucking while. But lately, I just can't stop hacking up. That's not fucking stop. I fucking think I might be asthmatic. I don't know. Huh. But my brain won't shut off anyway, so what the fuck does it matter? I mean, just earlier today, day one of sobriety, I wake up at like probably 4 p.m.,
I'm still pretty fucked up from last night. I drank a whole pint of brandy to myself and like 18 nicer liquor store beers. So yeah, and I stayed up till I think fucking like, I don't even remember, like 10 a.m. or something, working on the last recording, which is still not done. So I, of course, would have just stayed in bed, but it's the 5th, and I have to pay rent, and so I had to, again, remind myself of yet another thing that sucks about drinking, and especially when you have a car, is those mornings that you wake up and you didn't even drink anything, but you're still fucked up from last night, and you have to drive. And I don't fucking like that. I don't fucking feel comfortable with that. I can drink a little bit of coffee, but that almost fucks me up even worse. So I get up. I had to go fucking pay rent. I didn't even get there on time. I have to hope that they get my check and I don't get a receipt. And it was still just so fucked up, but there was still some shit I needed at the store. So I go to the store and I have this thing that happens, not all the time, but sometimes I just, in the most random of times, random of places, sometimes I'll be just watching a show, but a lot of times I'll be just out and about, and I'll just be so like full of, I don't know what it is. I'll just look at any random fucking person, just picking out whatever it is that they're picking out that obviously is important to them. And I start like thinking about that. And I start thinking about this person and what's so important to them and why they make the decisions they make and how they wound up here and what they're going to go home and do. And I start like wondering like if I like this person, if I love them, or if I hate them, or if I would hate anyone for like ever wanting to hurt them. And then I like start reminding myself that like everybody hurts, and like and that just fucks with me even more. And like I just have this crazy like overwhelming sympathy for just anybody, like random stranger fuck. And yet there's other times, even just today, same trip, same store, it'll be like the exact opposite. I'll just be so consumed with loathing and just irritated as fuck with everybody around me and just want to fucking destroy all humans. I know it sounds fucking it's outrageous. And I'm just full of just the exact opposite, just complete apathy for anyone around me. Whereas, like, sometimes I'll just be so overwhelmed with just this wave of empathy or sympathy for anyone around me randomly. And when I'm drunk, that doesn't really happen. I mean, alcohol, I guess, kind of helps to push that sort of stuff aside. It helps to push a lot of just the random thoughts going on in my head aside. And unfortunately, when I'm sober, most of those thoughts are extremely fucking negative most of the time. Especially getting out of bed, or a lot of times just having to be around people and interact socially. I start overanalyzing my thoughts before I say them, because it's a known fact alcohol loosens the tongue and makes you more talkative. Makes me less inhibited, and I'm less self-conscious about what I'm doing or what I'm thinking or what I'm saying. And to some people, that's probably not a good idea. They start and to me, even, there's I don't even know how many millions of times I've probably offended somebody by something stupid I said while I was drunk or did while I was drunk. Because, sometimes you get too drunk and just give too much of not a fuck. But what I fucking hate is when I'm sober and I got nothing to say, and somebody assumes that I'm like in some kind of a fucking bad mood, and they're just like, why are you in a bad mood? And it's just like, I'm fine. I had nothing going on that was wrong until you said something, but I know it sounds stupid. But I do have to remind myself, I have spent,
a chunk of this last year sober. And once you get into the swing of things, I have to remind myself it's not this bad. And it seems like, if I remember right, I do start to sleep better and stay asleep for longer, at least. It might be a little bit harder to fall asleep. But Jesus fucking Christ, I've only started back drinking the last probably 2 or 3 weeks during the holidays. And it's been a dark couple of weeks. It really fucking has. Literally, I have been pretty much getting used to staying up till the sun comes up and sleeping till the sun goes down almost every night that I can. That's probably another big reason why I'm having such a hard fucking time sleeping right now. I've gotten so used to staying up drinking till like fucking 7, 8, 9, sometimes even 10 a.m. At least I'm usually working on some sort of recording or some shit, Have actually fucking gone a long way, if you think about it, In fact, just as a recap, it's like about this same time last year, I quit drinking, a few days after New Year's. Because there's a lot of leftovers after New Year's, And then it seems like our saxophone player, Brooks, passed away towards the end of February. So, I probably only made it about 2 months, maybe. And I think it was probably about March that an old friend, Barry, randomly hit me up, and he has been crippled, actually, much more so than myself. He wound up paraplegic. Well, it's kind of a long story short. Before that, he got his license taken away for several different traffic violations in a row. This was probably about 2018, I believe. And they took it away for 2 years, and he was on probation, and I didn't see him for a while. And when I finally talked to him again, he was in a nursing home because he was pretty much disabled. But he reminded me that he had a car and asked if I knew anyone that had a license that might want to help drive us around. Conveniently enough, in 2020, probably about November-ish, I had finally got my own license renewed for the first time in fucking probably over a decade, to be perfectly honest. See, that is the extent of my alcoholism. I have always been such a drunk asshole that I've never seen a point in even renewing my driver's license after it expired. I just got a state ID. Kind of gave up on the idea of ever even owning a fucking car because I guess I've always kind of wanted to keep the responsible attitude of never wanting to combine the two. And I've just always been that fucking drunk all the fucking time. So when he mentioned the car, I mentioned that I had gotten a license a few months earlier. And so he said, basically, I could pretty much take the car in exchange for giving him rides whenever he needed them. So I essentially kind of got given a car. Not exactly. It was still his, and he wound up taking it back only a couple months later. During that time, though, I didn't entirely quit. But for the most part, yeah. And even when I did drink, it would be like when we were camping, and I would only get a couple of beers that I would drink that night. So it was just a little bit before Barry had offered me his car, sometime in March-ish, that I randomly woke up with this weird pain all the way from my left knee to my left hip. Now, I wake up with a lot of random body pains, but this was kind of different. And like most of those body pains, I hoped it would go away, and it just kind of didn't. I'd already been seeing a chiropractor for, well, regular back pains and also an injury of my foot and a non-related injury of the shoulder, both in 2020. And so I came to him with this new pain, and no matter what we did, it just didn't go away. So he finally recommended me to go and get some x-rays, and we kept kind of continuing on from there. So over the next couple of months, I had to keep on seeing doctors to kind of figure out what was going on. But by this point, I still had no idea what was going on. I just felt like somebody had twisted my femur out of place or something. So looking at my calendar, I went to visit Matt and Tirsa, my sister and brother-in-law, Fart Eyes, at the end of April. And came back to Utah the beginning of May. So I wasn't about to just quit entirely drinking for that, you know. I'm in Oregon where there's just microbreweries and new beers you've never tried every fucking direction you look, you know. So, yeah, I come back from there, and towards the end of May, actually, it was, looks like it was June 16th, where I lost both my job and my car on the same fucking day. And my friend, Barry, we stopped talking. We did not end on good terms. I don't really want to get into it. You know, it's not like I fucking hate him for life, but we're still not on very good terms, unfortunately. That was the same day I got the phone call confirming that I no longer was working at Sprouts due to some unforeseen events. And so I was pretty fucked at this point. I also remember it was either 2 days before this happened or 2 days after this happened. It was 2 days before, actually, because I was just getting out of the car and I had just a small bag of groceries. And as I was opening the door, something in my back just snapped. And that was much more intense of a pain than anything going on with my leg. That's when I started really starting to freak out, like, what the fuck is going on here? I was probably in some of the most pain I've ever been in my life. And I remember even telling people that there's nothing on this fucking world worth going through this much pain if it is going to go any longer, which luckily that subsided. Still, the leg pain never went away. So now I've got this extra fucked up leg, this extra fucked up back, no job, no car, and I can't even get my ass on a bike. So what do you think I did? I started fucking drinking again, of course. Fortunately, though, it really didn't take me that much longer before I ran into an old friend that I worked with at Sprouts who I knew actually dealt cars. Mostly deal with used cars because I'd kind of talked to him about it before. And so I asked him if he was still doing it. I ran into him at a gas station, and he said, yeah, in fact, that's all I do now. And so, yeah, he happens to live just around the corner from me. I happen to have a bunch of money saved up from when I was working and had that money with the intention of buying a car. So he put me in this nice little Jeep Compass, who I came to endearingly name Carless. And we have been on many, many adventures since then. Much thanks to George. You're probably not listening, but still, fuck yeah. He's also helped work on my car since I already got in a wreck like a month or two after that. What do you expect? But luckily I got that car. It looks like it was around July 14th. So I didn't go too long where I was back to drinking every fucking day. Still drank a little bit. I got the car right in time to go see my buddy, my old friend, one of my oldest standing friends, Heath Allred, go get married. I think that was on like the 30th. But for the first time ever, I was confronted with the problem that I knew I would have if I continued to drink while owning a car. And that's not necessarily getting drunk and getting behind the wheel. It's like I mentioned earlier, being too drunk from the day before and having to get behind the wheel. Of course, I stayed up in Salt Lake. I hardly got any fucking sleep, stayed up way late, drank all sorts of different types of alcohol, and they had to leave at noon, so I had to get the fuck out of there. I did not feel comfortable taking that drive, and right when I got home, I realized what a poor choice that was, and was very lucky to have made it home safe. Since then, I have only put myself in that position like one other time, and was not happy about it. And then kind of just earlier today, having to go pay the fucking rent. But, yeah, for the most part, since getting carless, really hadn't been drinking much, very, very little. Like, looking back at this year, it's kind of, I don't know what the fuck I'm freaking out about. I gotta fucking just keep reminding myself. Really, I'm looking at some of the shows I went to. I'm looking at some of the radio shows that we recorded. Most of these fucking things I did sober. It's not so bad, right? Right, Judas? Right. Of course, there would be the occasions. I went out to go see Osh in southern Utah. He's got a really fucking kick-ass setup down there. That was September 15th for about half a week. That was quite the interesting excursion. But it was October 20th when I saw Dr. Peters, and he finally broke the news to me. He said it was more than likely arthritis of the hip, which is where the cartilage between your bone wears away, and was more than likely caused by a vascular necrosis, which is basically where your fucking bone dies, and that was more than likely caused by drinking like a fish out of fucking water. And those were his exact words. And apparently necrosis, I'm pretty sure it can happen in most bodily tissues. A lot of fucking things can happen to your body as a repercussion of drinking besides just liver damage. You can go blind, for fuck's sake. And this necrosis is the way that my second doctor put it. It has to do with your blood circulation, which is the same thing as a heart attack, which is the same thing as a stroke. And it's basically where that happens in your bone tissue. And it's irreversible, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it except for get a hip replacement. And that's extremely fucked off because I am way too fucking young to be undergoing this sort of surgery. Even the doctor told me that, and he was kind of a fucking dick about it. But I guess I don't blame him, because he's probably just sitting there looking down his nose thinking, well, however many years I just spent, building my career as a surgeon for people that fucking need it, and you, my friend, voluntarily went and drank your life away and fucked yourself up bad enough at this young of an age that I got to be working on your sorry ass instead. I could be wrong. I don't know. He was very condescending about the whole thing. Very, very much direct and doom and gloom, like, you're pretty much fucked, and this is pretty much all you can do. So it was as of then that I pretty much stopped altogether. No more exceptions for the drinking or anything except Halloween. And that was our CD release party, which getting that album together and having to learn all these new platforms on the internet when I'm already not very tech savvy, and doing this all sober was fucking... there's not even a word for it. It was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever fucking done. And that's another thing looking back on this year is I have undergone some serious projects, and I've learned a lot. I've developed a lot of new skills that are very useful in video editing and recording and all that shit. Before this year, KWJUDAS itself was not just one big, massive pile of disorganized chaos. It was several piles of disorganized chaos. Organizing all of that and actually putting it into a format where they're all in seasons, it's kind of funny to look back on the fact that we've never even referred to any of our shows in that sort of format up until just this year. We haven't had them organized season by season, episode by episode. Nothing's been numbered, nothing's been in chronological order, and it's still only kind of in chronological order. I did my goddamn best, and that was, again, one of the most tedious fucking things I've ever done in my life.
That was 5 fucking years worth of shows. Yeah, monstrous. And unfortunately, there's still quite a few of them that we lost probably for good, and unfortunately didn't make it.
And I had to figure out how to get it all into an actual podcast format, which was another thing I've never done and had no idea how to do. And was kind of hell-bent once I had everything in front of me and had it all organized, realized that if I got this all done soon enough, we could potentially have a season 6, because everything kind of fell in place just right that the 6th year we're doing this could be season 6. And next year, or this year, I guess, it's 2022, season 7 will be kicking off in April. And we're finally going to be treating this show like a real fucking show, or like a real podcast, which is nice, because before that, I mean, most of these shows didn't even exist anywhere publicly. So that's a big fucking deal. And getting Delphic Quorum's album History out was a big fucking deal. Getting it on all these platforms that everybody's been asking me for years, how come you're not on Spotify, and how come you're not on, all these different things that we haven't done, we've always been talking about doing, and continue to run into one shortcoming after another. I finally just fucking bit the bullet and made myself figure out how the fuck to do it with pretty much no help. So I guess I do have some things to look back on and kind of be proud of myself for this last year. I got a fucking car, my first fucking car, which shows that I do actually trust myself enough to have an automobile and be responsible with it, and also be as responsible equally with my drinking, which now, with this medical condition, the doctor told me he won't even talk to me again for another 2 months of sobriety. Like, I cannot have it drank for 2 months. And I actually pretty much did that, but once the holidays came around, I just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to drink every fucking day again, and I'm going to remind myself as to why this kind of sucks, and forced myself to just get too fucked up again and kind of ruin the progress that I had made the last 2 months not drinking, almost on purpose, to kind of, I guess, just reassert myself and remind myself that staying up all night, drinking all night, sleeping all fucking day, not even getting up till the sun comes up, having such a hard time staying asleep, waking up just feeling like shit, and having to drink just to not feel like shit, and having that be the reason why you woke up feeling like shit, and the reason why you will wake up tomorrow feeling like shit, and will have to continue to repeat this process over and over and over again. Anything from that to the financial burdens of, just New Year's and Christmas, I spent at least $100 on each one of those, and that's aside from buying alcohol every day in between. And of course, trust me, I was buying good beer, so that put me back several $100 that I had saved up, and I haven't even been employed, so I don't know how the fuck I even managed to fucking pull that off and still keep my fucking head above water. I seriously don't even know how I'm doing it. Still. Not drinking, obviously, saves any fucking what little money you have. Drinking obviously eats that up real fucking quick. And I sure as fuck don't make anything off of this YouTube channel or this podcast or Free Radio Provo or any of my fucking bands. You'd think I would be by now, but no. I'm still pretty much just getting paid in peanut shells, folks. So, if anybody out there is feeling generous or appreciative of what we've been doing over the years, I did leave my Venmo link in the description. It's Judas-G-1. We're always taking donations, and donations are always appreciated. But, yeah. Anything from that, the financial downsides, the fucking physical reasons, the sleep. I have a hard time sleeping when I'm sober, but I don't know. Fuck, I hope we can get back into the fucking loop of things. But fuck, even just stupider shit like you just spend all the fucking money on all the fucking booze you just did. Sure, that's one thing. But then, stressing out about inviting all your friends over and making the jungle juice and, adhering to these fucking traditions that are pretty much just yours and you kind of almost seem like the only one that fucking cares anymore after a while. You start wondering, why in the fuck do I even do this for all these fucking people that, I practically have to beg to get them out to come drink with you. And almost nobody responds and even less people even fucking show up. This is like, fuck, man. When I'm not drinking, it's like, then what am I supposed to do? Invite people over for fucking tea and cakes? I don't know. All those fucking lonely nights just spent with this alcohol you fucking bought to drink with other motherfuckers. Or maybe you just hoping somebody would come over and drink with you. All the fucking time you spent and money you spent and effort you put forth and stress you put yourself through. Gotta run to the fucking liquor store. Gotta make sure there's, gotta make sure that we got the booze. Gotta. Just even having that lifted off your fucking shoulders. There's no more gotta get it. First thing when I wake up, that's my first fucking priority. Got to at least appreciate that not always overhanging, because then the first thing on your mind is, okay, what's on the huge gargantuous list of things to do? That is how I got so much fucking shit done this year. It's because I really actually did spend a good chunk of this year sober. Until just these last few weeks. And I guess I'm kind of glad that I wasn't able to sleep tonight. Because, like I say, I don't know if I'm going to fucking publish this, but this is more just for personal record and reflection and a reminder as to why the fuck I'm doing this. Because just having a medical condition should be enough, but it isn't. It should be... Getting a car should be enough, but obviously it wasn't. Trying to just muster up enough motivation to even give enough of a fuck about yourself is one of the biggest fucking challenges in your own personal well-being. Because obviously that has not been a priority for so fucking long. And in my mind, drinking has been in my own personal interest psychologically. Because it really does help me deal with a lot of shit. And I really do get a lot more depressed when I'm not drinking. But I digress. I guess how dire the situation is, the magnitude of the situation before me has reminded me of my own frailty and made me much more desperate to get out what I can while I can and try and unload the mountain of unfinished projects and get everything off the back burner that I've had just sitting around, and try and make room for new creative ideas and give it all you got while you can, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around or want to be around. I'm really not satisfied in the slightest bit with where I am in life right now. You know, I'm too young to be experiencing the physical and medical conditions that I am experiencing, which this isn't even the first of. And I'm too old to have still not done anything with my life. And what little I have done to not really have much to show for it. At the age I am at, I definitely saw myself being a lot further on with my quote-unquote career choice as a musician or artist. And so I've kind of been faced with the reality that this is all I've got to show for it. And it's hardly anything. And so it's like this make it or break it, like either just fucking give up or get it all out. And then if you don't get any fucking attention, then you can complain. You say, I fucking tried and it didn't fucking work. And I'm really hoping that's not what happens. You know, maybe one of these stupid ideas I get falls into the right hands and fucking somehow just gets me out there, makes millions. Who knows? But I can't keep just waiting for that, you know. Well, that's why I'm just trying to get everything out now while I still can. And then probably just die impoverished, alone, unknown, and in a lot of fucking debt. Because another reality, and probably the ultimate worst, beyond any amount of sleep deprivation, pretty much the ultimate bane of my existence. What a lot of people don't realize is that every day of my existence that I stay alive on this earth, I literally grow deeper in debt. As I said, I might not even publish this, and if I do, I might delete it later. I might find this whole thing very embarrassing. I might find this very encouraging later when I'm wanting to drink. Maybe other people will find this encouraging because they've never had it put this way. Maybe people can learn from this. I don't know. If I do publish it and I do leave it up, I hope somebody does learn something from this. I really am not way big on all the cliche, like, pseudo-sympathetic, encouraging statements you always get from everybody. Like, you know, hang in there. I'm there for you. You got this. So proud of you. You know, even just like, I support your decision, or like, I appreciate it. I do. But those are just words, and that's not what I'm going for. I'm not going for sympathy or anything. I guess I'm going for understanding and more or less just for my own self-preservation, I guess. just to have an outlet. To have someone to talk to without really having anyone to talk to. I know it sounds stupid, but if somebody really is a bad mood, or, you know, like a lot of people are like, man, if you ever need to talk, if you ever feeling like you're going to do something crazy or do something stupid, you know, or like you see those fucking posts people make. If anyone's ever contemplating suicide, here's a chat line, or you can talk to me or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I think about suicide more times a day than I can count, and I don't want to put that on anybody. Maybe that's why I'm recording this right now, is because I just need to fucking get it out, and I don't want to put that on anybody. So, if you are listening right now, you are that fucking friend. Thank you for being my shoulder to fucking cry on. Thank you for fucking listening. I think I'm going to take a couple of puffs and hopefully get back to bed. Hopefully I have nothing more to say tonight. Otherwise, I'll probably just sit and stew over it for the next couple of fucking hours and maybe come back and fucking talk some more to myself, because that's, you know, what you do when you can't sleep. Thank you all for listening once again. Remember to subscribe, please donate, and all that butt jazz. This is the end of season 6. Stay tuned. We'll be back in April with season 7.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us on yet another exciting and confusing episode of KWJUDAS on Free Radio Provo. We now turn you back to our regularly scheduled free radio programming.